Yes, we are ready. Okay, thank you. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sorry, our work session ran long, so thank you for waiting for us.
Oh, that's okay. Not a problem. Good afternoon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
Okay, thank you. We didn't have anyone signed up to address the board, I believe. Vicky's not here, but nobody came up here and asked if they could address for public input. I'll move on to approval of the minutes of the meeting held February 2nd, 2022.
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those are approved. I'll move on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. No new conflicts of interest, so I'll move on to approval of the consent agenda, items 7A through D. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On to the reports. This President, now we're ready for you. Are you student government? You're introducing our
Ready
student.
now.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Chelsea Reich, and I am a student success advisor at Southeast Tech. Along with that, my correlative area is student activities. So all of those extracurricular things, student clubs, organizations, that sort of thing. And thank you, first of all, President Mickelson and the rest of the board for allowing us to come in and present to you. We have some special guests here today, and they will actually be presenting. So we have 3 of our board members, so they are students, and they will introduce themselves, but they will be speaking to you, kind of just talking about our highlights for the year. They'll talk about some of our accomplishments, some of our challenges, and just give you an update on what student government is and what it means to them, what they do on our campus, and what they have planned for future initiatives. So I will let them join me up here.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Paulson. I am the student government president, and I am pursuing a degree in business marketing.
I'm Nolan David. I'm the treasurer, and I am pursuing a degree in civil engineering and land surveying.
I'm Max Keating. I'm the vice president, and I'm pursuing a degree in entrepreneurship.
All right, so student government structure, we really offer leadership opportunities to all of our individuals on student government. That is a big part of how we work ourselves. We offer different types of community work, camaraderie, and really influence our students. We try to offer them personal and professional life skills to get them ready for life outside of Southeast Tech while they're still in school. Also on that last side, sorry about that, we, the 3 of us are executive members on student government. We were all appointed by our General Assembly. Our General Assembly is made up of anybody in Southeast Tech that wants to come and hang out with us and be a part of student government. The last semester during the fall, we really focused on hitting the reset button with our student government, and we wanted to return to student life on campus following the COVID restrictions, which we found to be a little bit difficult on recruiting members and getting the students back to being a part of something bigger than just student life. And student government has really been able to give a voice to students no matter where they are in their life. Some big challenges that we face so far are rebranding student government. A lot of people think it's government related just because of the name, so we've kind of played around with a different name change, but still representing us in a good way. Also rebuilding our clubs and organizations, getting those back up and running in good people to join on. We've also had some great successes this past semester. Our group was small but very, very active and influential. Each and every person had a great thing to say, and was great when they came to meetings. Our extracurricular sports were very active, and lots of students were ready to go out and have fun and get that community connection again, especially after COVID. So everybody was ready to be back with others. Connection to campus and groups. The former SGA president from a previous year came back actually to serve as a judge for the talent show. So that was really cool. We got to invite some of our alumni back on to hang out with us. These are a couple pictures from our extracurricular sports. Everyone was having a really good time. They've gone really well. Everybody likes to go and hang out with all their friends and have a good time. These are a couple of our clubs. Not all of them are listed on there, as we do have a couple new ones that just joined on, but we currently offer Pride, Turning Point, Roots, Crew, and the game club, as well as Uncomfortable Conversations in the finance club. So 7 clubs as a whole. Uncomfortable Conversations and Finance Club is quite new. The Uncomfortable Conversations Club opens a forum to bring up anything that students want to talk about in a safe and open environment. So you can literally talk about anything, and it's really beautiful. We had our second meeting today. And then the Finance Club is actually headed by Nolan, so I'll let him talk about that a bit.
So Finance Club is a new initiative that I decided to start after I had a guest speaker come into the school last fall to give a few presentations on financial literacy and how to save money and where to put your money and what you can do with credit cards, etc. So the club's objective is to get more students on campus interested in trading stocks, crypto, and commodities. And I hope to see a full room of students by the end of the semester. Some of the events that we did have for fall of 2021 are our Backyard Bash, which is basically like a school-wide party behind our student housing. We also had a campus picnic where we had several tabling events outside, and we had serving food, hot dogs, hamburgers. It was a pretty good time. We had a big turnout for that one. We then had our talent show, which was mentioned earlier. Probably the most successful event that we've had so far this year. A lot of good talents from our students. We actually had somebody sing the national anthem with an electric guitar, so that was probably the best thing that I saw there. We also had our laundry basket drive, where we had students on campus donate food to anybody who was in need on campus, which the food was then taken to other people in the city that were in need. We also do our Student of the Month Award, where our SGA assembly or our SGA executives will nominate a Student of the Month once a month in our meeting at the beginning of the month. Those are a few of the events that have gone on at Southeast Tech this year. And here's some pictures. Here's the food drive, and you can see all the food in the shelves there. It's very organized, very, very cool. Here's a picture of the talent show. You can see I'm up there handing out tickets, people, and entire team. We're packaged food together, snacks, and just overall really good event.
All right, so to get started with the civic engagement opportunities this semester, I do want to clarify right from the start that STC does stand for Service to Community rather than Southeast Technical College in this case. So far, we've been focusing on the SGA Civic Committee and just trying to get the word out for students to become more involved. So far this semester, me and my co-chair have both been actually speaking to our classes, trying to get that out so that people are aware of these new opportunities. We also put up a link on our website so that students can volunteer for the various projects that we offer this upcoming semester. For the civic engagement opportunities and volunteer works in progress, we're currently working with Feeding South Dakota, the Banquet, Girls on the Run, and we're looking for more if we can find them. So, STC week in the spring semester coming up is the week of March 28th through April 1st. And that does provide on and off campus experience for students. We have a campus cleanup, the Butterfly House, the Spring Fling, and the Earth Day Park cleanup. As well as this week, just on Monday, we did have about 12 hours put in at the banquet and volunteer hours from Southeast Tech students, family, and friends. And coming up tomorrow night, we'll have about another 12 to 15 hours put in. So this semester, we're just trying to get out and make a difference.
One awesome thing that I've had the opportunity to be a part of this year is being a part of the strategic planning committee for Southeast Tech. I'm the student representative, and that has allowed me to interact with faculty in a different way. I've kind of been able to have the roles reversed a little bit. So instead of my teachers teaching me, I'm able to teach them a little bit about what's going on campus from the student's point of view. So that's been a little weird, but very cool. And it's been a very great leadership opportunity and lots of fun. I have been able to facilitate student focus groups and helping get feedback not only from our community and our students, but also our faculty and our staff members, and been able to play an amazing role for that. So thank you for including me. This last month, we had an institutional effectiveness day, and I was able to co-chair with Emily on getting more feedback and making some strategic steps in order to make Southeast Tech a better place for not only our students, but our faculty and our staff, and how it plays back into the community. I sit as a co-chair for the student support group, so it's a lot of fun there. And being a part of it has allowed me to kind of see the bigger picture, and there's a lot more going on than I realized. And being a part of SGA has given me a voice and an opportunity to work within an organization as not only the president. It's given me an ability to voice my thoughts and represent my opinions, but also to represent my student community and my student campus, and bringing that back to the student government and the different student groups on campus has been pretty awesome. It's allowed me to get involved and pay it forward to those students that are going to come after us. So thank you for giving us the time and listening to us today. And do you have any questions for us?
First, I want to thank you all for coming. Chelsea, Caitlin, Max, Nolan, great information provided to us. We love seeing the students, so come back again if you can. Thank you also for participating in that strategic plan. It was fun to see students at that, because STC is very student focused and needs to remain that way, and adapts to what is needed in this community, and you're an important part of that. So please still keep involved and get your more friends involved. So thank you very much. An idea I was thinking of when you were asking for more ideas is you're close to Hayward Elementary or George McGovern Elementary, or middle school, I'm sorry, which are two of our higher poverty schools. And that would be great if you reach out to the principals there. There might be some opportunities for you guys to partner with the school district on that. So that would be fantastic. We would love to have you students come help and do that. So. Any other? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to them. I currently do not have a pen, but I will remember.
I can lend you one.
I was just going to say, I love it when we have students that come and talk about all these things that are really non-academic related. I think one of the things that's maybe a mislabeling of Southeast Tech is that, like, you just go there and you go home, and like there's not a lot of connection. And I think many people would be surprised at the level of activity and engagement that goes on with students. And so you don't have to go to a four-year university to get that experience. You can get that at Southeast Tech, and you can have these valuable leadership experiences and community service experiences right here on that campus. And people don't always realize that. And so I appreciate all of you guys, the time that you put in, but also coming here to tell us about it, because I think that it's a great story that needs to be told, and it can't be told enough times to help people realize the value of that too. So you guys are doing great things in your academics, but these are just going to help uplift those the skills and the knowledge that you're learning, and help you out in your future careers and jobs. So thank you for coming and for sharing.
Thank you. Seeing no more questions, do I have a motion to acknowledge the SGA Student Life Highlight Report?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is acknowledged. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
On to the electrician report. Thank you.
President Mickelson, members of the board, thank you for having us here today. My name is Jason Merritt, and I am the interim dean for the trades at Southeast Tech. We have a presentation for your acknowledgement in our HVAC-R, that's heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration and plumbing programs. Sorry, did we jump ahead one?
Yeah, I think electrician is on our agenda first. Is that
Oh,
what
I'm
I have?
sorry.
Do you have that right? It doesn't matter. We can do it
Are
neither
you
way.
fine?
I'll just skip to that one so I have the right
I
one
can
pulled
change
up
my
here.
whole script and just put a different word in there if you like. Is this
It all
okay?
has to get done today, so whatever is easiest for you guys.
Great. So our HVAC, and plumbing programs are going to be presented by Dan Voss and Vince Berry. Come on up, guys.
Hi, my name is Dan Voss. I'm HVAC instructor at Southeast Tech.
That'd be me, Vince, then. So. No. Oh, okay.
So we'll talk about HVAC first. Currently, we have a one-year residential diploma program as an option for students, and they can also return and get their associate's degree as a two-year program, AAS degree. This, we might talk about this in a little bit, but we are consolidating that program into a one-year diploma only, and then students will have the option to go to plumbing if they want to earn the associate's degree in mechanical systems. And there's a lot of reasons behind that, and I can go into that more if you would like to know. I'm Dan Voss. Jared Johnson can't make it today. He's sincerely sorry, but he has an incredible amount of experience. He, as a graduate of Southeast in the 90s, he worked for a contractor here in Sioux Falls for 8 or 9 years, and then he opened his own business in Harrisburg. And he's just brought a wealth of knowledge to the program and also on the business side of things. I have a really roundabout way of getting here, and you probably don't remember if you were here, but I came to this meeting with 2 other instructors when I was a student, and I've got a lot of education, but the one that fulfilled me the most and also paid me the most was HVAC, so it's got a special place for me, and I really want to share that with students, that what you had just said, you don't necessarily need to go to a 4-year school to be successful. There's a lot of options to you with just an associate's or diploma. Our enrollment this year, I started with 29 students. Obviously, students drop off as we go. Right now I have 23. Jared started the year with 14, and I believe he still has all 14 students in the AAS program. I won't read these to you, but these are the HVAC program objectives. We focus on technical skills. We have students install equipment in our lab, and then once we install it and we start it up, we learn what the operational measurements are supposed to be. And once students are comfortable with working with that equipment, then Jared and I put bugs in those furnaces and air conditioners and that equipment, and we ask them to troubleshoot and diagnose and explain to us, how did you come up with this answer? Why is this component bad? We have problem solving and critical thinking, which works into that troubleshooting and diagnosis. Professionalism, we actually have a professionalism rubric where every student starts with 100 points. If professionalism is not observed from that student, we take away, and we come back and we talk with that student about every 4 weeks and say, this is something that we observed and we need to talk about this, and this is where we want to see improvement with professionalism, not only here in the school, but when you go work for a contractor in the community. And then also, obviously, safe working habits. We're working with high pressure refrigerants and electricity every day. Communication, we have students compile a portfolio of all the work that they have either done in the lab at school, but many of our students actually work part-time for contractors, not only in Sioux Falls, but in the region. and we ask them to display some of the things that they're proud of that they've done with those contractors, and to communicate to us not only what they troubleshot or diagnosed, but what they installed and what their understanding is. Here are two pictures of our HVAC lab. You can see the furnace lineup. That is the first year side of the lab currently. And then we have a heat pump trainer in the other picture. And that's really nice because it kind of breaks apart the system and you can see everything that's happening. You can put your hands on the pipes and feel the different temperatures. You can adjust the fan speeds. But as I said, that's the first year side of the lab, but pretty soon everything will be the first year side of the lab for our program. And I don't know if it's best if you want to ask me questions now before Vince presents, or if you want to allow Vince to present and then ask us both questions.
How about we let him, because I think it'd be a good wrap up to see why they're combining into the thing at the end maybe.
Okay, well, here's our program. We do 2 semesters. They're 1 year, total of 35 credits, you can see. I work for a contractor, maybe some of you heard of, Career and Blaine. We did a lot of work for the district over the years. In fact, I was foreman on a couple of jobs, Discovery, Road and Park.
You're the guy we're looking for.
I'm the guy, yeah. Sorry. Enrollment, we took a little hit the last year. I mean, we're doing pretty good there, 18, 17, and then we kind of dropped down to 7 the 1 year. We're starting to come back up now. We have 11 this year. And I think we're in mid-teens right now for next fall, so hopefully it's getting numbers back up where we'd like them more. Technical school skills, main thing I concentrated the uniform plumbing code. That's what the state and city, state of Minnesota, where I get students out of there, we all use that same code book. So what I really push them on. Critical thinking, the blueprints, being able to read, obviously blueprints to know where to put everything. And we're starting out in the building information modeling. We're getting away from paper blueprints, basically. Things will be more just on an iPad, a laptop. You can go to any page, blow it up, whatever you want to look at. It's a really nice system. I've used it in the summer. I still work part-time for Grambling summertime. So, and of course, yeah, the safety aspect we really work on. And of course, communicating with the other grades, HVAC, electrical, customers, all that we have to do. The electrical lab is right next door to mine, so we do some joint projects so the students kind of get the idea of, we put in electric water coolers that need both plumbing and electrical so they can all both work on it. Do things like that. A couple things we did. The first one on the left, that's actually down at the CTE at the academy. We're doing a house for Habitat for Humanity. The guy in the middle in the maroon, he's a graduate. Actually, from plumbing in 15, I think HVAC in 16, Josh Cruz, wasn't he in class with him. So he was one that actually did cross over and do both plumbing and HVAC at Southeast Tech. And he's a job foreman now with Frisbees. They were kind of in charge of the job, and then all my students went down and helped out with I think they're both in the CTE. Yeah. So we went down there and, did the plumbing all indoors on that farm. And that really worked out good. Josh is a really smart kid. He turned out really well. I can't take too much credit for that. He's one of them students you didn't have to do much with. Okay, and like I said, if I do the 2 years, we can get into that if you have more questions about it. My program didn't change much. They went from 2 years to 1 year, so obviously a lot more changes in the HVAC. So, and it seems like we get more of a rural students that need both skills. Smaller towns, where I worked before, it was kind of you did one or the other a lot more. You didn't really cross over, but seems like those kids from the smaller towns, the rural area, that's when people want one company that can do plumbing, probably electrical, HVAC, everything. So. Yeah.
Would you then explain how the program's going to the 1 year, and then basically it sounds like so a student in 2 years now could get both instead of just
Yes.
Yeah.
So how we are doing that is next year I will be teaching just the 1 year program by myself, and Jared will teach out the AAS degree for HVAC students. And following that, Jared and I will both teach the first year, and we'll flip-flop students, and we're teaching heating, cooling, and controls. So we had to take a hard look at our curriculum and see where there was some redundancy from what I was teaching, what Jared was teaching. And obviously there are going to be some things that we need to either just touch on and maybe not go as deep into, but we're going to try our best to, even though we might be trimming up some things, we want to turn up the rigor a little bit and try to pack in as much as we possibly can into that 1 year. And what I failed to mention is that there are a lot of factors playing into our decision to do this, but one of them is the pressure we're feeling from contractors in this area. They are calling us 2, 3, 4 times a week saying, do you have a technician? We need them now. We need 2, we need 3. And the alternative to that, if we don't answer what they would like, is that a lot of contractors will just say, hey, don't go to school. We'll train you on the job. And that's taken away from us, but I think it's taken away from the technician as well, because that contractor can then decide, well, you're really good for this role, so I'm just going to put you here. And you don't really get exposed to the whole gamut of what HVAC is. It's a lot more than just being a technician. And if we can expose them to that, it makes them a lot more versatile and gives them a lot more options down the line.
Good explanation.
Couple of things. I love that you talked about having the makeup portfolio, and I think that's awesome that it's not just what did we do in my class, but what other outside experiences have you had? Because that really validates for students that what they're doing, the skills that they're learning are very much transferable to other places, and that those things can help the other students in their classes learn as well, or see, oh, there's some potential there. I've never done that before, but maybe that's something I should look more into, or things like that. So I think that's great. My question would be, you mentioned that a lot of the students maybe are more rural. Do you guys have any sort of like recruitment, or what do you do to try to draw students into your program?
Well, yeah, I had a few of the things, job fairs at the CTE and stuff, where I think, kids are more interested in the construction field, hopefully. The last couple of years, obviously, it's been a little tough getting into schools, so
Yeah.
haven't done much. With admission, obviously, we have people that do that, go around the state too. So.
Sure.
I try to impress on them, at least in the plumbing aspect, that we're looking for. Obviously, the city's growing like crazy. It's all brand new pipe, it's clean. We're not looking for guys out there to be roto-rooter and clean drains. Brand new pipe, it's all really clean work. But obviously, we got a bad stigma of plumbing. But people think that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be out there drain cleaning or something.
Yeah,
Like,
unclogging
no,
toilets or something.
I know, you ask people what's the first thing you think of a plumber, and
Yeah.
New construction doesn't seem to come up in that conversation right away,
Yeah.
That's really where they're screaming for the help, I mean, they just can't man jobs. Contractors will bid more work, but they can't man them, can't man them. I want to contract in Brandon, just a quick story. Monday called me, and the former student he was calling on, he said, what's he like? I said, he only really top for the class, but have you got anybody decent? And I'm like, you got any other apps? And he's like, no, I got 0. I said, well, you either hire that guy or you got 0. I mean,
Right.
that's really how it is,
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much,
Yep.
both of you. Appreciate the report and good information.
Thank
So,
you.
very important needs.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to
Well,
acknowledge?
when I just said, Dan, I do remember when you came to the
So
board,
go ahead.
which makes me feel really old, because that was
Were you a
about,
philosophy major?
that was about 6 years ago.
I also did not have any hair then. Much different.
I really didn't have any of that.
Thank you.
It's the before and after.
Do I have a motion to acknowledge the HVACR and plumbing program report?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move on. Now the electrician report. Okay, thank you.
Hi. We have another presentation for your acknowledgement of our electrician program, and presenting is Mike Bezdacek.
Hello, I'm Mike Bezdacek, so thanks for having us here today. I'll give you a little rundown on the electrician program as I go through this. So ours is a 4 semesters, two-year program. As you take a look at the student numbers too. We're sitting pretty good right now. We entered this fall with 73 students and continue to look pretty strong going forward. Last I heard, we're full for next year, next fall, and even getting close to half full for like 23, 24 for fall. So we're really proud of how popular the program has become. I have about 20 years experience in the field as far as Southeast Technical College. I've been there for 6 years now, 6 of the 7 years that this program has been around. The other instructor, Marcus Hunter, could not be here with us today, but he has about the same amount of experience in the field. So as we look at this, it kind of shakes down the same as the HVAC and the plumbing, the technical skills, which all the trade programs, that's a big part of it, and demonstrate the basic wiring skills for residential, commercial, industrial applications. That's really the 3 different avenues that you can take in our field. And we kind of break them out like that because they're so different, where if you wire a house for 10 years, you may not have, the experience to go in and wire a school building or a hospital or something like that, because they are so different. And so we try to touch on all 3 of those, along with the industrial side is different as well. So the 3 avenues, residential, commercial, industrial. A big part of that is explain and interpret AC and DC electrical theory. What we really try to lay the foundation is, understand what's happening on the wires, so you know the hows and the whys of electricity, because that's what separates us from anybody else trying to work on this stuff, is knowing why it did what it did and how it did what it did. And the theory, because we obviously can't see what's happening on the wires. Problem solving, critical thinking, interpret blueprints, schematics for the same residential, commercial, industrial applications. Just really understanding how to read those schematics for motor controls, blueprints for the building, so we know where all these lights need to lay out, we know where all these receptacles need to lay out, those types of things. Professionalism, safety is number 1 for us always. So we preach that every class. I always start every class with a safety orientation every day. We try to have a little safety meeting because it is so important for obvious reasons in our field. And then communication, Vince had mentioned, working with plumbing students. We try to get them together, just because we run into on jobs like this where you are working around plumbers, you are working around HVAC guys. You need to be able to communicate with those guys and plan accordingly. Does your stuff need to go here? When do I need to hook this up? And so we're always working on that. And then also, a huge part of our program is apply and interpret the National Electric Code. We have a big code book, essentially written like a law book. It's not a design manual. What it tells us to do is how we have to install things to make sure that they're safe for the person and the property. We don't want to burn anything down. We don't want to get anybody hurt. And so there's nothing enjoyable about going through those code classes, but that's what everything we do is based upon. That our test, our license, when we go take that test to become a journeyman, it's strictly a code test. There's no hands-on on that test at all. As I got a couple pictures of our lab, the picture on the left shows, you can see a couple like our control enclosures. That'd be more like industrial process type stuff, motor controls, PLCs, and then around the outside of our lab, we have our residential booths where we kind of learn, obviously, the residential side. And then the picture on the right would be going over, like getting into the commercial side of it. It's kind of, we don't really have it broke up this way by design, but our first year focuses more on the residential, just because it is a little more basic as we get into that wiring, a little easier to understand some of that stuff. And then the second year kind of tends to lean on the commercial side of it and some more advanced controls type stuff as we go. I think that's kind of a quick little rundown for you, how we're doing, but numbers are good. Placement's great. The demand is, overwhelming almost. We had one contractor just come in and visit students the other day in the area that wanted to hire 100 students in the next year. And we can't even meet that demand. So we're sitting good. As far as demand goes, and student numbers are great, but we're still, short in that aspect. So if there's any questions, I can sure answer those.
This is one of those programs, and Megan wishes we had more seats. We could add these in, it's just, it's great what you're doing. We need more of you so we can train, and more space probably to train more students.
Space would be good. Yeah, that's what we're running out of now, is space for that. So.
Maybe that employer should, donate some money to build some
Build
more
a new
space.
Contractor.
Open up
Yeah.
spots.
And I know the question that came up earlier, one I answer a lot, do we lose students to, to contractors? And just so you guys know, most of our contractors that I work with are really good about keeping our students in class because they really don't have the time or the money to afford to train them on the job. And so I can't speak highly enough of all the contractors that we work with and supporting the program. They're all really good that way.
Yeah, again, a very high demand and a great skill to have. I think we've all had those friends who have asked friends if they know how to wire houses or, hey, I'm finishing my basement. And, and we probably all have those friends too that had bad outcomes from that. Yeah. And so this is a very important job, and it's a very important career for safety. I mean, codes change year over year, and things need to be updated, and so it is a lot of knowledge and a lot of things they have to keep track of. But it's very important work too. So keep on fighting the good fight and get some more people out there. But it's great. I mean, great job prospects for the students. That's got to be very comforting to know that they're spending their 2 years in school and they can walk out and basically choose their employer.
And that's where it's easy for me to talk to when students come in, and it's been a good career for me. And so it's really easy for me to, pass that on, or the passion to the students, and let them know that, you've chosen a good trade for sure.
And aside from obviously the career options, like that knowledge just as a homeowner or as a person, I mean, just a normal, I own a house is so beneficial. You're a great neighbor to have. So
yes, as I know.
Yes, awesome. Thank you very much for the report.
Do you have a motion to acknowledge the electrician program report?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Finally, to our STC Foundation update report, Stephen. And I will share while he's walking up, Dr. Griggs let me know that out-of-house appropriations, the ZEAL program was approved 7-0 or 8-0? 7-0. 7-0. So we'll go to the House floor. So, good news.
Yep.
So, President Mickelson, School Board. Hello, my name is Steve Williamson. I'm Director of the Foundation. I've been at Southeast Tech about 3 years now, and very happily so. I am thankful that I get to meet and work with the people that I work with. I have many bosses. I have not only the bosses at Southeast Tech, but also 18 members on a board. So I try to listen to as many people as I can. I'm here to talk to you today about what we think is a very successful completion to the Now campaign, but sometimes I actually like to call it the No Lazy Rivers Here campaign. This is in jest, but it's also rather serious. The project up there at LSU, that lazy river, was $75 million. And so when I go and I put this slide together and I present it to our folks at Southeast Tech, this is the reminder for me, is what am I here for? And what are we here to do? Are we here to build lazy rivers? Or are we here, and I doubt Rich is here to build a lazy river, but the big thing is what are we raising money for? And is what we're raising money for appropriate? And we have to be always thoughtful and conscious of that, especially in this time of massive student debt, sometimes students not having the dollars to feed themselves while they're in school and things of that sort. So we always try to keep that in mind on anything that we're raising money for and accepting money for. So our mission statement is pretty crisp: committed to providing financial resources, support student scholarships, perpetuating faculty excellence, growing new and existing programs, and supporting the workforce needs of the region. As one of the things that we have started to do the last 2 years, if you ever want to go and see our annual report, That's on our website at that site that you can take a peek at. That's very important that we do, and that is something that we have just started the last 2 years. So you can always see who are our donors, what are they supporting, and things of that sort, and the progress and things of the campaign. The NOW campaign. So NOW is short for New Opportunities in Workforce Development. It officially started January of 2018. It has or had a financial goal of $6.2 million and was broken into 4 different segments, which we'll talk about more. This was the first comprehensive campaign in the history of Southeast Tech and the foundation. It was started by my predecessor, Shelley Enru, who did a wonderful job of getting this set up and had, I cannot say enough good things about here. And I also want to say something about Paula Hawks, who does a great job in working with growing our sponsorships for the Build Dakota program. Those have grown quite a lot. And so I work, as I always want to point out, that this is always a team effort. It's not just a foundation director, it's leadership, it's people at Southeast Tech, it's the board. I'm just kind of here manning the ship. All foundation board members have given to the NOW campaign. And the NOW campaign was ended a year early. I ended it with the approval of the board on December 31st, 2021. We've had over 1,400 individual gifts from over 500 donors. So the numbers for the NOW campaign, 4 segments that I talked about: grow industry sponsors and scholarships to support an increase in enrollment, which has all occurred in great success. A lot of that is obviously due to the support of our donors for scholarships, but also the success of the Build Dakota program, which our Office of Admission and Enrollment Management has done an exceptional job of building and growing and spreading the word of how wonderful that program is, and we're obviously very thankful for it. But the goal for that area at the time was $2.7 million. We have raised over $9.8 million. The second goal was fund needed support services to significantly improve recruitment and retention of first generation and diverse students. We've also met that goal and very excited about that. Strengthen industry connections, apprenticeships, internships, the annual unrestricted funds to meet industry needs. You have to have annual unrestricted funds, else you don't have a foundation, because that's what funds the foundation. And then also you always might have some smaller projects that you might want to fund when things come up that you need some annual unrestricted funds to pay for. Those are probably some of the more difficult dollars to raise. Most persons in most colleges will say that. And then last but not least is financially support the new renovation for the vet tech program, dental assisting, and smaller projects. This shows that we came up a little short on that, about $400,000, but I would also submit that this does not quantify the immense financial gift that we got from across in Boys Ranch to be able to use that facility for our large animal portion of vet tech. To build something like that would have been $5-6 million. So it's tough to quantify, but in my mind, we met that goal too. So in total, we've raised over $13 million on a $6.2 million goal. Our largest corporate public donors, obviously the Build Dakota Scholarship Fund, is the City of Sioux Falls, State of South Dakota. Smithfield Foods, which is outside of the state of South Dakota, was our largest donor for vet tech. First Premier Bank Card, Marsh McLennan Agency, Sioux Falls Specialty, Henry Carlson, and Marmon Energy. Some of those are cash gifts, some of those are sponsorships, some of them, and pledges and that are being mostly paid off and things of that sort. I think the value of what you see on that is the diversity of donors across many gamuts of the workforce sector. Oops. Sorry about that. Largest private individual donors, Sanford, Avera, again, a really wide array here. Dakota chapter of National Electrical Contractors Association, which is actually up in North Dakota, but covers North Dakota and South Dakota. Our endowed fund, the Seed for Success Foundation, the Esther and Harold Mertz Foundation, AGC, the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 426, that's the Electrical Workers Union, Marvin and Claire Actor Endowed Funds, the Frost and Boys Ranch, and the Howard and Eunice Hovland Estate, which unfortunately came into fruition here in the last year. Important initiatives for funding. The obviously are the ones that you see, the vet tech program and programs of the sort, but I think it's also some of the other things that I want to bring your attention to. The foundation is paying for the salary, benefits, and budget for the Director of Access and Workforce Opportunity. That is vital to where President Griggs and leadership want to go, and we are more than happy to be a partner in that process. The Academic Resource Center, Megan Fisher came to me and said, we need to raise some money for that area, and we have been successful in doing that, and I think there's an opportunity for even more, but it gives her now the flexibility to put together a plan to really ramp that up the way that she and her team want to, and not have to worry about, do we have the money for it, and things of that sort, which we'll be able to do. Financial literacy at Southeast Tech. We received a $5,000 grant from Wells Fargo for financial literacy. And so I had an old friend over at my previous employer, Dr. Ryan Decker, who's a professor and probably the foremost expert on financial literacy education in the United States. And we brought him to Southeast Tech from Naperville. And the biggest thing that we want to communicate moving forward. What is good debt and what's bad debt? What is a good investment and what is a bad investment? What are the bad investment platforms that these students are starting to see? And they're starting to see quite a few of them that make it kind of like a video game, rather than maxing out their IRAs or the 501s and things that sort. We will continue to do that. That one program, when we brought him, had more questions than the 4 previous that we had in our student success. So students are very interested in financial literacy. We obviously had over $200,000 in annual scholarships. Some other things that we are doing, for example, we have students that don't have the funds to take tests to move forward in the process. The assumption is that everybody has, for example, a TEAS test, $75. The assumption is that they have a computer that they can sign up for that test. The assumption is that they have a credit card that they can sign up on their computer for the $75 that they might not have. So we received some word from some of our partners that it'd be nice if there was some dollars set aside for something like that. So we have done that. And I don't do a lot of grant writing. I do smaller grants. But what the foundation does do is provide the funding to hire the best grant writer in the state of South Dakota, and that's Sharon Chantos. And so we have an unbelievable team that has worked with Sharon on finding some opportunities. Dr. Valdez and our person in health services, Amy Miller, did a great job. And so we're really happy to have Sharon, but if it wasn't for the donors, we wouldn't be able to hire Sharon. So we're pretty excited with that. Our endowment growth has been solid, as everybody's others, we're all doing pretty good up until recently. But our endowment is held by the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation. And we have about $1.3 million in our endowment, which we draw off every year to help fund various scholarships, annual scholarships. And that will continue moving forward. We will draw on that endowment every single year. Sometimes that doesn't happen at institutions, and I don't know why. Last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about where we go from here. Right now, I'm just calling it the next campaign. Obviously, that won't be the name of it. We'll come up with something better than that. But first and foremost, we invite you to come join us on March 25th at the Hub, 7:30 a.m. for Celebrate Now, where we bring an official end to the campaign, celebrate its success. We are very happy. We hope to maybe even make a few other announcements at that time, but we'll see. I guarantee that the next campaign will be larger, a lot larger, a lot larger. All things, a big component of that campaign will be about the word access to higher education. And it will move further beyond where we're at with the Now campaign. And we'll build off, part of that, connect to that, we'll build off the strategic planning process that we're going through now. And as we're exploring, what does that word access mean? Obviously, it'll represent the goals of our exceptional leadership and the foundation board. Usually they're in agreement. Let's see here. We'll place greater emphasis on engaging alumni of Southeast Tech. We do not have an Office of Alumni Affairs. So we need to, but it's an opportunity. And I hate to say for fundraising, it's more so for understanding their story, their journey, and the value that they have brought to this community, and how we really wish them to be a bigger part of what our future is at Southeast Technical College. Last but not least, it will not be a frivolous campaign. We will not raise money for frivolous things. We are here to go and raise money that support the mission and this institution, and hopefully properly represent the Sioux Falls School District. With that, that's my report.
Well, congratulations to you and your team for exceeding the goal tremendously. As you mentioned, lots of team players, but thank you very much for all the work, because as we know, every dollar you raise through these things are less dollars that the students would have to pay through fees or anything, so tuition credit. So thank you very much for doing that, because that's what we need to keep going this forward, because we only get X from the state, and these are things we can do in addition and over and above. So
thank you.
Any other questions?
I just say, since I've been on the board, and it amazes me the generosity of the people of Sioux Falls. It's amazing.
Yeah,
they're wonderful.
We're very
people.
lucky.
I think per capita, it's one of the best giving communities in the United States.
People are engaged, and as long as you all keep asking for the right things, that asking them what they have interest in, I think that is what helps make the connection, so that they want to continue to give and being successful in what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yes, and March 25th, 7:30 a.m.
Yep.
This is the rescheduled one, right? Was it this?
Correct.
Okay,
This is,
good.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right. The first one we decided we might want to push off.
Yes. Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to acknowledge the STC Foundation update report?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is approved. Well, I meant to not adjourn. I was looking at adjournment. Anything else to add, Dr. Griggs? Sorry about that. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second?
I have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Now I knock.
Hot sign of enthusiasm.